To this now, Reverend Zukile Makula is the chairperson of the Eastern Cape SACC, also joins us to weigh in on this particular march. Reverend, it's such a great pleasure to have you with us. Welcome. So, firstly, what are your views on this matter as the Eastern Cape SACC?
Thank you so much for an opportunity, and greetings to the viewers at large. First of all, I think as the SACC in the Eastern Cape, as people who are guided by our laws within our country, first of all, we still stand by what we've shared from the beginning about our disappointment to the law when the Reverend Omotoso was acquitted. However, we welcome the new developments in terms of the arrest that has been made on Omotoso in the East London around the issues of immigration laws. We stand here in support of all people in South Africa who are coming from all over to abide with our laws and respect our laws. And most importantly, we stand in support of many people and victims and survivors of gender-based violence who have faced it from people who have regarded themselves as their leaders on their own right, especially religious leaders. Mm-hmm. So today we embark into a march with different leaders, which have religious leaders in Buffalo City, traditional leaders, and leadership in general, political leaders who are saying that we want our laws to be respected by all who reside in South Africa, and even more those who call themselves in the name of our God.
Absolutely, Reverend. I mean, a few years back, in 2019, to be precise, a very extensive investigation on the events that were reportedly taking place at some charismatic churches across the country was instituted, where all sorts of allegations were leveled against some of these church leaders for the abuse of people's belief systems. And there was a rather controversial outcome with the commission being accused of overreaching its legal mandate. We know that Omotoso has been acquitted of charges, right, Reverend? But the fact remains, people should have a choice of who presides over the church, yes, but it certainly cannot be a controversial figure. A church is supposed to build and lead by example.
Certainly. Having said that, we agree that as we respect the law, that Reverend Omotoso has been acquitted. We are not law experts. However, we also understand that in terms of him being acquitted, it was on the basis of not enough and sufficient evidence, not necessarily that he has no case to answer on. That is for that reason that we have welcomed the call and the initiative by the Minister Kubai, Minister of Justice, who have called together with other departments that this case must be revisited, so that where there is a case that must be answered, justice must be done in a way that is satisfactory to all, including Omotoso himself, where he has to answer properly in all that is alleged against him.
Mm-hmm. And so in this regard, Reverend, I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier on. I mean, church leaders, especially in our black communities, should work alongside with traditional leaders in ensuring that the rights of the people are respected. How do we then get back to this practice, Reverend? What is needed in order to deal with these mushrooming ideologies when it actually comes to worship as well as the protection of believers? And also, maybe in closing, what role then can also government also play in regulating some of these practices within our churches, Reverend?
I believe that when you are a church leader, there must be accountability. That's why there are structures like the South African Council of Churches, which we think that in terms of the laws governing all organizations that are operating within our country, we should have a way that all bodies that practice religion, including churches, there must be accountability of some sort. However, I think it is our call that religious leaders and traditional leaders, as custodians of livelihood of people, they must come together, defeat and diffuse the spirit of competing against each other, so that we know that these churches exist within communities, which communities are presided over by the traditional leaders at some point and in some areas, together with those who are entrusted with that responsibility politically. That's why these fears, all of them, we must be able to sit together to have a cohesion, a working relationship, which transcends our ideologies for the betterment of our communities, so that issues of this nature, victimization and self-enrichment using religion, can be curbed through our communities, so that whoever establishes a church within a community, he must go through the eye of a needle, if I can use that terminology, in terms of where he comes up, the ideologies he carries, and be made aware of the expectations in terms of the community, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, so that we don't find ourselves marching for issues such as this, but we rather find proactive ways of protecting our communities and our people not to fall victim in such instances.
You know, Reverend, I know I said maybe in closing as well, but the issue here is that I'm sure you heard in our previous interview, it's actually the communities that will actually march against the arrest or, of course, of these individuals that are deemed unsatisfactory in certain communities, and they will do any and everything to actually support them. So how do we change this mindset and teach our communities that in such instances, sometimes you just have to look far deeper than your faith?
Well, it's a journey that we must embark on, all of us with, where we continue to empower each other, we teach each other and engage each other, because I think one of the prime things that we attempted to do prior this march was to have what we call is a pastoral conversation with the Omotoso church, which all the attempts have failed, because we wanted to reason first with one another, together with the people, about what is happening, which has led ultimately to this day. It is our concern, it is a reality that in most cases, people within our communities, more so in some instances, women who are mostly victims of these occurrences, will find them in support of this. But I think it's a journey that we must embark on it together, empowering, engaging each other, but ultimately those who are entrusted with leadership, in particular in terms of religious, traditional leaders, and those that who have political mandate from the people, we need to find each other and have proper bylaws for religious activities in our areas where we exist.